Alright fellas, Fury Usyk 2 is just a couple sleeps away, and Fight Week has been fascinating to watch. From the public workouts to the press conferences, it's all revealed quite a bit. The one thing that's left me scratching my head though is how Fury is presenting himself. I'm not gonna lie, he seems a little bit rattled, and trying his best to get in Usyk's head. But I don't know if his tactics are really working. But either way, a lot has happened over the last few days that we just need to talk about. Yet before we get started, there's only one place to watch the fight, and that's through DAZN. The global home of boxing is the only place to watch this massive event, and you'll even get a free 7-day trial with the pay-per-view purchase. So set yourself up early, you certainly won't regret it. Now the last Fury Usyk fight week was pretty eventful. Of course it was one of the biggest boxing matches of the decade. There was drama, mouthing off and the usual push and shove. So leading into this fight I was expecting much of the same, yet so far it's presented a bit of a puzzle. As I said just before, Fury's demeanour is quite a confusing one, and there's quite a few parts to talk about, so before you can make your own decision on what this all means, just stick with me for a moment. Now this week all started with the grand arrivals, which of course was the first time we officially saw the fighters. In what was a big event for a glorified 5-minute interview, it definitely showed a more upbeat Tyson Fury. At least the most upbeat we've seen him this week. Based off this seemed like the confident Fury of old. It seemed like nothing really changed, the loss hadn't really affected him. But the one thing I did notice, and I saw a lot of you noticing online as well, was for the first time I was looking at Fury thinking, you're really starting to show your age. I don't know if it was just his beard being a tad more grey, but it looked like the last 6 months really haven't been kind to him. Usyk on the other hand seemed unchanged. His attitude has remained the same basically his entire career. Focused, confident and ready to go, whilst enjoying his time in the spotlight also. Also gotta point out, what a wild fit. I don't know who his stylist is and what the inspiration, but this fit matches his character. Just a bit odd. And this led us all into the next event, which was the public workouts that were set by the pyramids in Saudi Arabia. All a bit weird once again. I don't know if they're like trying to copy Vegas with just taking wonders of the world and rebuilding them in 1/3 of the size. I really don't know, but either way the ring was set in the middle of these reproduced wonders. The public workouts weren't much of a workout by any of the fighters, more just let's jog around the ring, do no pads and put on a little show. All to once again have a glorified 5-minute interview. Although this is where Fury's demeanour seemed to have switched from the day prior. At least in a lot of past Fury fights, his demeanour to me is usually joking yet confident. He's normally taken the mick out of his opponent, and his pure outspoken confidence usually makes his opponents a little bit nervous also. And of course that chest out sort of confidence carries into the ring. What I don't think we've ever seen before is Fury bring only one half of the package, which is the talk without the confidence. And that's what we're seeing here. It seems like day by day Fury's been slipping into that mindset. The press conference was the ultimate showing of this. Fury once again talked about similar things as the day prior, but the main part of the whole press conference that you should look at is that 10-minute face-to-face where they couldn't be separated. And the only image I could use to describe it is this meme here. It's basically the 10 minutes compiled into one image. I get the whole neither man wanted to back down, and of course for both of them it's a mental thing, to try to get into each other's head. But by the end you had Fury starting to mouth off, and the talk from Fury to me genuinely seemed like a guy trying to G himself up. A guy with little belief in what might happen over the next couple days, and he's trying to speak it into existence. I reckon those are pretty grim signs for the Fury camp, but as I've said before with Fury, you never really want to completely write him off. He's pretty unpredictable. But ever since Fury got knocked down against Ngannou and was unable to turn around and actually put it on him, this showed the public he isn't the Fury he used to be. The usual defense I've seen to these criticisms of Fury not being his normal self is, well, he just talks a lot and he's doing it again here, which is true, but it's simply not normal talk from him. His whole demeanour is just off. Compare it to the final Wilder 2 press conference, the most similar position to what he's currently in. He was coming off a draw which was almost a loss and needing to bounce back. In this press conference there was genuine confidence. Fury was himself, no sort of false bravado. Just go back and watch it, it's simply a different Fury. On paper though, this rematch is still incredibly 50-50. I guess all of us will look at the pre-fight events and debate what they really mean, But all of this means nothing compared to what happens on fight night. I would be surprised if Usyk fights a completely different fight compared to last time. In rematches, say against Joshua, Usyk fought basically the same fight twice. There will be some little improvements from Usyk, but for Fury, he has the best opportunity to improve. Going into that first fight, many were just saying to target the body, but when Fury was pumping those uppercuts and forcing Usyk onto the back foot, it was almost a different fight. Can Fury improve and maintain his pace for 12 rounds? Well, I don't know. If he comes in heavier than last time, there's way less of a chance. Yet if Fury comes in fit, commanding the distance and getting off accurate shots, we could really see a fight which is closer than the last one. But in a plus also, John Fury won't be in the corner, which is fantastic. No more yelling at him that, oh, we're fighting man, while Sugar Hill Stewart is actually trying to give him advice. This is a huge plus for any of you Fury fans out there. I actually talked about the John Fury thing earlier on my Instagram, so if you want to stay updated also, go follow over there. Yet at the end of the day, my pick is still going to be Usyk to win. But seeing that Turkey Sheikh has put his pick behind Fury, does he see something or know something that all of us don't? I would say maybe, but then at the same time he tried his best to make Joshua versus Wilder happen, and couldn't get it over the line, so I wouldn't really buy into any of the talk that's going down with that. I genuinely want to hear your picks and who you think is going to win and why. What do you reckon about all the pre-fight events, and what do you think either fighter has to do to get over the line? Let me know down below in the comments. But one thing I want to point out also when watching the pay-per-view, of course link in description, the most underrated bout on this card has to be Moses Atuma versus Dempsey McKean. Moses is of course the highly touted prospect, but McKean is no slouch either, and I think this fight is being massively overlooked. I've seen so many people talking negatively about this undercard, but this fight has me genuinely excited. McKean's been training with Opataya and only has one loss on his record, coming against Filip Hrgović, and Moses has been exciting every time we've seen him fight. This is a fight you just have to tune in for, and that's why once again I say don't waste any time and get yourself the pay-per-view early. This fight will be just before the co-main, so make sure you're on the couch watching before it comes on. But if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, it does a ton to help the channel. But thanks for watching fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one.